Marston's Domain.
Hey everyone, Marson here, and today I want to talk about the map rotation in Splatoon 2. I know I've talked about this in the past, but I wanted to talk about it at least one more time, because I'm sure it's getting old hearing me talk about this, because I know that there are a good amount of people that are for the map rotation, but I want to speak for those that are against it, including myself, and it's because I think that people don't really realize how much the map rotation really limits the game. When you think about Splatoon 2, when you go to play it, think about the average amount of time you play it. I'm sure that, when you first bought it, or maybe even still now, you play in excess of 2 hours, let's say. But as time goes on, people are going to start playing it less and less. I mean, that's just how games work. That doesn't mean that the game is getting bad or anything, but things do tend to get old. So with the map rotation being at 2 hours, let's say you play a total of 2 hours. Depending on when you get on, because you could get on during the middle of a map rotation or whatever, you're honestly only going to see 4 maps. And then let's say the next day you do the same thing, and that map rotation has one of the maps that you played the other day. And then the next day, same thing. You're going to get extremely bored playing those same maps, to the point where you might not even experience most of the maps, because there's also no guarantee as to how many times you're going to get a certain map within the rotation. I've had games where I've played like 10 turf wars in a row, and I've gotten one map 8 times and the other one 2. How is that fun? Like, I'm confused as to how people defend the map rotation in terms of variety, because there's none. You don't get any variety. And I understand people who say, well, I do actually like to be able to pick the weapons I want for certain maps. That's fine. I personally don't think it really matters. I really don't. I think the game mode matters more on what weapons you bring and what your teammates bring, which the game gives you no way to even be able to prepare for that, because you could have a full team of rollers or whatever. But I think the game matters more on the game type and what your team's bringing. Yes, the map has some elements that matter on what weapon you bring, but realistically it's more about the game mode. If you have a full team bringing Aerospray on Turf War, you're probably going to do very well. If you have a full team of Aerospray in Rainmaker, you're probably not going to do that well. And that has nothing to do with the map. It has to do with the game type. So, again, I understand people defending that aspect. I personally don't agree with it, but I understand that defense. But a way that we could get around all of this is that you should just be able to pick the map like Mario Kart 8 does, where it just picks a bunch of maps, everyone votes on it, and then it cycles through and randomly picks one person who picked a map. And then if you don't like any of the maps there, you can pick random. Then after that, it could go to a screen where you could select your weapons and actually see what your team has. That would make way more sense than making these restricted map rotations where you're barely getting to even experience the game. And again, I still think that the amount of people that like the map rotation to being able to pick their loadout for the maps, I still think that that is extremely low. Because I think people who even say that don't even do it. I mean, that might be a bold statement, but come on. Most of the people that play this game honestly play it casually. I like to try to take it somewhat competitively, but even me, I mean, I think the ranked mode's a joke. You can't play with your friends in it. You have to do league battles to be able to do that. I mean, I'm not even going to get into that right now, but the game is very much aimed towards casual players, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But with that being said, I don't think many people are looking at the map rotation and going, okay, I'm going to bring this shirt because it has this special ability, and I'm going to bring this weapon because this and that and this and that. I don't think so. I think people literally just go, okay, this is Turf War, I'm going to bring Aerospray. Okay, this is Rainmaker, I'm going to bring this. This is Splat Zones, I'm going to bring this. I don't think people are going, okay, these are the 2 maps. All right, I'm going to bring this and this and this. I just don't see it happening. I think some people do it, but I think that the amount of people that do that is extremely low. I think Nintendo has a different reason for doing this. I honestly can't really even figure it out. I'm going to be honest. I can't. I don't think it's fully to do with being able to pick your loadout. I feel like they kind of did it to make it seem like the game has more than what it really does. Because when things keep rotating, you kind of forget how many options there are. I mean, right now, there's not many maps in the game. And there's 4 game modes, not counting Salmon Run. Which Salmon Run you can't even do all the time anyway. So 4 game modes, which are all the same from Splatoon 1, a map rotation that lets you only play 2 maps at a time, and it's random on which ones you get, so you could have what happened to me, get 8 of one map and 2 of the other, and you don't even really get to experience the game. So I'm just confused as to why people defend the map rotation to this degree, because I swear these same people that defend it are probably getting bored of the game the same way as other people. And I'm not even saying like bored of the game as in like I'm done with it. Like I still have a ton of fun playing Splatoon. I love Splatoon, and I think it honestly has huge potential to keep getting bigger. I just think that this one thing that they decided to keep in the game is limiting the game by a lot. Because I think you're going to start to find people who defend it right now getting bored of the game within a few months. Because it sucks. It sucks when you go on and you can't play other maps. Imagine if Mario Kart 8 did this same thing. Could you imagine? People will say that I'm being ridiculous with this comparison, but seriously, I think it's similar. If you had to play the same... Because, I mean, realistically, you could make the same defense. Okay, there's 2 maps in the rotation. I know which vehicle parts I want to use for these certain tracks. I want there to be a map rotation every 2 hours. And when you think about that, it's like, are you kidding me? Could you imagine playing the same 2 tracks for 2 hours in Mario Kart 8? No way. No way. And what's funny is that all these other shooter games don't seem to have this problem. I played Gears of War for years. That game was incredible. There was no issue with the maps. There wasn't a map rotation. Call of Duty. I'm not the biggest fan. There's no map rotation. Halo. No map rotation. All these games. All these shooter games. No map rotation. CSGO. No map rotation. Why did Nintendo make such an amazing game but limit it this much? I don't understand. And again, the only defense is, well, I want to be able to pick my loadout for the certain maps. And I really wish that there was a way to take a poll to see like how many people actually do. Like if you launched the game and said, do you like the map rotation? Yes or no? If everyone had to answer that when they launched the game. Because there is no way that the amount of people that like the map rotation outweigh the people that don't like it. There's seriously no way. And I think that it's going to kill its own game. I don't think the game's going to like die. But since I've played Splatoon 1, going to Splatoon 2, I love the game, but I can already see how this is going to get old. Because I launched the game, I see the maps, and then God forbid that one of the maps is one you don't like, because good luck trying to have fun with that, because you're just going to keep getting it. And then you look at the ranked mode, which I don't even like ranked mode, because you can't play with your friends, so I'm just going to even disregard that. You look at league battles, and let's say you don't really like Splat Zones, and it's Splat Zones for 2 hours, and Salmon Run is closed, you're probably just going to shut the game off. That's what blows my mind, is they've basically designed it to be like, hey, launch the game. If there's not what you like, shut it down and try again later. Because I personally do that. I'll turn the game on, I'm like, well, I don't really feel like doing Turf War, and I don't like the maps anyway. And then you see League Battle, and it's like, well, I don't really feel like doing that mode. Oh, Salmon Run's closed. Oh, well, I guess I'll play ARMS or Mario Kart. And that's just, to me, that's not a way to run a game. And Nintendo is a billion-dollar company, so they clearly do know more than I do. But I can say that fans are the ones that keep them going. And when you have a huge group of fans who dislike something, it would be nice if they would make some sort of compromise. I think them changing it, I mean, it honestly used to be 4 hours. So thank God they did change it to 2, because Splatoon 1 was 4 hours. This one's 2 hours. It's not as bad, but it's still not really a fix. Because I don't really see people playing for longer than 2 hours a month from now. Like, the game is very casual. Like, I try to take it seriously. I know other people try to take it seriously. And there's even, like, esports things coming up for Splatoon 2. I understand all that. But the game is still kind of aimed towards casual play. And I feel like the map rotation just goes completely against that. Because when you go on to just kind of have some fun, it's not fun when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I've already rambled on for a while about this. But I really do feel strongly about this opinion. Which is why I wanted to talk about it again. And which is why I've been rambling for so long. Because I just really wish they'd change their mind. I wish they would change it. I wish they would take some sort of in-game poll. I wish they would do something to actually be like, okay, we need to make some sort of compromise. Because again, I mean, I've made a video on this before, and I've had people defend the map rotation. That's completely fine. Like there's nothing wrong with if you like the map rotation. My point is that no other shooter's doing that. I find it hard to believe that most of these people even do pick certain loadouts for these maps. I think that's, you know what, that's really the main problem is when I hear people talk about the map rotation that they don't mind it, they're usually casual players that don't even play that long anyway. Like when I watch other videos of people talking about it, some people who defend it or whatever, or if I look at comment threads, anyone that's really defending it, I feel like most of them don't really play that long to have an issue with it. And that's what bothers me is all the rest of us who like to actually play the game for like at least an hour or two, see how much this sucks. You don't want to play the same maps all the time. The thing I'm going to end off with is think about your favorite game, any game. Think about your favorite multiplayer online game. And think about playing the same 2 maps in the same mode for 2 hours every time. That's how the game worked. All your memories. Think of all your memories of your favorite multiplayer shooter or any multiplayer game. And think about all those memories except change it to where you and your friends had to play the same game mode, the same maps for 2 hours. And that's how it worked. I'm going to leave it off on that. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about all this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.